Hello, my friends. So today we are going to be talking about Trim Healthy Mama S Meals. I was noticing when I was in the different Trim Healthy Mama Facebook groups that there were a lot of people who were having questions about the program, and so I made a video that was kind of an overview of the Trim Healthy Mama plan, and now I wanted to dig a little deeper into the different components. And so in this video, I wanted to talk to you about S Meals. So in Trim Healthy Mama, the premise is that we are separating our fuels. So we're keeping carbs and fat separated. All of our meals are anchored in protein. And so the meals where we have fats are called S for satisfying, because don't we all know that that fats are so yummy and so satisfying. So an S meal is anchored in protein, and it doesn't matter if it's lean or if it's fatty, because satisfying is for fats. So we're not worried about keeping it lean. So we can have bacon, we can have sausage, we can have different just different cuts of meat that, you know, you can see the marbling in it and different things like that. What we are concerned about in S meals are the carbs, because we're keeping those separate from each other. So in an S meal, we are keeping our net carbs at 10 grams or less. So as a reminder, net carbs, when you look at the label on a food, you're going to see the carbohydrates listed, and then you're going to see fiber and possibly sugar alcohols. You're going to take the total carbs, you're going to subtract the fiber and subtract the sugar alcohols, and that's going to give you the net carbs that that food item has. And so that is what you are going to count toward this 10 grams of carbs in your S meal. Don't worry about counting vegetables in your S meal, except for vegetables that are starchy, which would be white potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, parsnips, rutabaga, and carrots in large amounts. Right now I am looking at the Trim Healthy Table book. This is a recipe book, but it has an overview of the program in the front of the book, and there are so many delicious recipes in here. You should read the book. You should definitely read the book. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. This is what works for me. And so I'm hoping to be able to help other people with this information. So, by the way, my name is Christy with Help for Your Journey, where my goal is to encourage and inspire you in your Trim Healthy Mama lifestyle. And so, okay, so we're having lean or fatty proteins. This is where we're having our oils and our butter and our cheeses and things like that. We're keeping the net grams to 10 grams or less, but we're not worrying about the carbs in vegetables except for those few that I spoke about a second ago. So basically you want to choose your protein, you want to choose your fat, and then you want to add non-starchy veggies, dairy. You can have some berries with an S. You would want to keep berries. I think it's, let me see if I can find this. It's definitely a half a cup of blueberries, or 1 cup of other berries you could have with an S meal. So there's just so many options, you guys. There's so many options. So nuts can be had in moderation. I don't have a lot of nuts because nuts are like so good that I just don't have, more like if I'm making something and the nuts are in it, like I wouldn't ever just really have nuts, like pour them in my hand or whatever and eat them. That's way too easy to go overboard. So so your meats are pretty much any whole eggs or egg whites. The list of dairy is just like really long. All your non-starchy veggies. We talked about the berries. We talked about nuts and seeds in moderation. So your condiments, you're basically, your mayonnaise, mustard, you're looking for sugar-free ketchups and things like that, because you're going to find that if you're trying to use regular ketchup, for instance, it's going to be high in carbs and high in sugar. We're not having white sugar. We're not doing that. So now here's the thing. What about grains and beans when you're having an S meal? So you could use a very small amount kind of as a garnish, but we're keeping fats and carbs separated. So let me just look on here. So what's an example of a day? Let's say I decided that I was going to eat S meals all day. What would a day look like? So for breakfast, I could have an omelet. I could cook it in butter. I could have peppers and spinach and mushrooms and some onions and cheese, and I could have bacon or sausage inside the omelet or on the side. That could be my breakfast. Boy, that's deprivation, right? For lunch, I could have a salad with some grilled chicken with all the veggies, with cheese. I could have some avocado. I could have a hard-boiled egg, and I could have a creamy dressing on it. Probably the only thing, like if I were to go to a restaurant and order a salad, I would want to make sure that my meat didn't have any kind of breading on it, and I wouldn't get croutons. That would be pretty much like all I would have to watch out for. It's very easy to go out to eat and have S meals. Very easy. For dinner, I could have a steak. I could have some roasted asparagus. I could have like a cauliflower mash that was loaded with like bacon and cheese and sour cream. These cookbooks are so full of desserts that are, if you've ever seen recipes for like keto type desserts, that's what you're looking for when it comes to an S dessert. And they're really easy to do. If you can find a sweetener that you enjoy, not an artificial sweetener, but like a stevia blend, monk fruit, those sweeteners are on plan. If you can find one that you like, and the Trim Healthy Mama ones are great, and I'm not affiliated with them. I don't make any money off saying that. There are so many desserts that you can make that are so good that you will like lose your mind. Really, I'm not even kidding. So S meals are really easy to do, and they're really easy to go overboard on. So I just want to say that you need to be careful, because they're so delicious and they're so satisfying that it's easy to just kind of fall into a pattern of eating those all the time. So I'm going to link in the description box a video that I recorded where I show how I do my menu plan, but I also show how I made up a meal template for myself so that I'm not having to think all the time, oh, am I going to do an S meal or an E meal? And I just follow this template, and it takes a lot of the thinking out of it for me. So I will link that in the description box. There are other fuels with Trim Healthy Mama, and so I'm going to have separate videos for each of those, or the one where I kind of do the overview might be helpful as well. So if you found value in this video, if you could give it a like, I would appreciate it. And even more, if you would consider subscribing to my channel, that would really help me out, and it would help YouTube to know that people are interested in this content, and they'll help more people find it. So I appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.